I'm now going to work a problem out of a story problem out of section 2.3. And the first one is going to be number 65, fencing a garden. So this is so let me read it. Number 65, a square vegetable garden is to be tilled and then enclosed with a fence. If the fence costs $1 per foot and the cost of preparing the soil is 50 cents per square foot, determine the size of the garden that can be enclosed for $120. So that basically it's almost like they have a budget of $120 to set up this garden. And there are two costs. So I can say the total cost would be, they're going to have to buy some fence for this garden, the cost of the fence, plus, I'll just say the cost to till the soil, or to prepare the soil. Now let's think about it. It's a square garden. So the two sides are going to be the same length. Now, the fencing is $1 per foot of fence, and the cost of tilling is 50 cents per square foot. So let's write an equation now. So the total cost, we know we have $120. The cost of the fence, you have to enclose the area with a fence. So this is like the perimeter of the square. You add up the four sides of the square, the perimeter is 4x, and then the cost, so this is the amount of fence I'm going to need, 4 times x, and the cost of that is $1 per foot. So this is the fence cost. Now, to till up the soil, well, there's the area I need to till. The area of a square is the side squared, so the area is x squared, and it costs me 50 cents per square foot. So this is the cost to till. And now I have an equation. Let me just write it with numbers. 120 equals 4x plus 0.5x squared. And this is going to be a quadratic equation. So now I need to try and solve this quadratic equation. I really don't, let me get everything on one side. So 0 equals 0.5x squared plus 4x minus 120. I really don't like having that 0.5 in front of my x squared. So what I can do, I can divide both sides by 0.5. And when I do that, I end up with x squared plus 8x minus 240. And now there's a couple ways you could solve this. You could try and factor. You could use the correct formula. Let me see if I can factor. So I'm trying to think, my product would be negative 240. My sum is 8. So this is sort of a big number. So this is the kind of thing where you may want to grab your calculator. For instance, first of all, I know I'm going to have a positive number times a negative number, and the positive number is bigger. So I could multiply 24 times 10, but that sum, 24 times negative 10, that sum is 14. That doesn't work. How about, let me think of a couple of possibilities. How about, see, at this point, if it doesn't come easily, this is a great example. At this point, I don't want to spend any more time thinking about it. So how about I just use the quadratic formula? A is 1, B is 8, C is negative 240. So therefore, x is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So negative 8 plus or minus 64 plus, because I'm subtracting and this number is negative, looks like 960. Right? Let me, on my calculator, confirm that. I think 4 times 240 equals 960. So 960 plus 64 equals 1024. Take the square root, it's 32, which is nice. Now, since this is a story problem, I'm not going to have minus 8 and minus 32. That ends up with a negative number. So it's going to be minus 8 plus 32, which is 24. 24 over 2 is 12. So it looks like the side, the length of the side of this plot is going to be 12 feet. All right, so that's an example of a story problem that ends up turning into a quadratic equation. And in this case, it would have factored, but the numbers are so big, I decided just to go ahead and use the quadratic equation.